Hello, good day, and you're welcome to day 11 of the Holiday Bootcamp with Toddler Parents. I am Chioma Okoli, and I am the founder of the Expectant Parent Academy. So, one of the goals of the bootcamp for toddler parents is for us to assess our children, all right, both those that have been in school in the past academic year, in the just concluded academic year, and those that have been at home. Take a look at them. What are the things they are doing that you're not comfortable with and you really want adjusted? Okay? If you started with us from day one, you would have seen the activities we're supposed to do, the observations, the tools we're supposed to do to get to understand these things. And if you've done that, make it a continuous effort, all right? Make it a continuous practice. Even as you're putting the things in place, excuse me, even as you're doing the things you should do to correct this things you don't like, um assess your efforts, assess the progress of the efforts you're making on a daily basis. That will help you to understand when you need to do more, when you need to change, when you need to re-strategize, and all of that. And now, if you're on this journey of no hitting and no yelling in raising my kids and raising my toddlers with me, you'll understand that you have to think. One of the one of the things that discourage people is that you have to really think, because it is in engaging your brain that you come up with strategies to really work with your own child. Because I'll tell you what I've done with my own children and how I did it. It could work exactly with your own children depending on the level they are, but you may need to do extra work, and those extra work is in your sitting down to think. My children may be of the same age with yours, but I've done some background work that you've not been able to establish, and so you may have to start from the basic and come up. Now, the good news is that even if you've not done the basic job that you should do, if you start it today, give it time, give it weeks, give it months, give it 1 or 2 years, and you come to the place where you see that these things I've been doing is working. It's been building. That's the thing. It compounds. So today is the 11th, and we'll be ending the 21. We'll be ending the 15 days boot camp this Friday. So, like I promised in the beginning, this week we'll be talking about the practical skills, the practical things we can do to really do away with the behaviors we want to modify and all of that. So, number one, before we ride on, I'd like to share a scripture passage with us. If you are a Christian, you'll be conversant with First Peter chapter 1 verses 19. And if you're not a Christian, okay, you could just listen to what I have to read and then pick up what you can from it and run with it. All right. So it says, and we have the word of the prophets made more certain, and you will do well to pay attention to it as to a light. Now, this is where my emphasis is going to be. As to a light shining in a dark place, until the day dawns and the morning star rises in your hearts. Now, your toddler don't know a lot of things that we assume they should know. One of such things is empathy and compassion, especially for the boys. So your job is empathy is one of the things I'm going to mention that you really need to teach your children. Empathy and compassion and sharing things. But what I'm trying to bring out from this Bible passage is that when you start it, it's as if there is a darkness in their hearts with regards to what, or an ignorance in their hearts, or in their understanding about what empathy, compassion, sharing, and the other things we are going to discuss in the rest of the week, there is a level of ignorance or darkness in their understanding or in their minds. And so your job, excuse me, so your job is to continue doing this good job until what you're trying to teach them shines on like a light. In the beginning, it could be dim. When it's about to be morning, if you are awake around 5, 6, by 6, it's as if there is small light coming, right? Then by 6:37, you see that the dawn has come, and you don't need light to see anything. All right. So you start from the same way. When you start out, they don't really understand what it is, but they are getting an idea. You're describing it in a way that they are imagining, is this what mommy means? Now when they do it, you now confirm, yes, this is you being compassionate, this is you. So you continue on that part until they now fully understands what it is. And in the case they make a mistake or sleep, you call them back. This is not this. Make amends. Next time, this is how you do it. And if we are consistent in these things, then we are on our path to raising, not just having, we're on our path to having toddlers who are really human beings. Okay, because most parents or most people who work with toddlers feel that, hey, there's really nothing we can do. Just allow them. But I've mentioned, there are things that let's allow them. Time will really take care of. But there are things that let's allow them. It's getting worse. All right. For instance, if your child is always in the habit of hitting, especially the boys are always in the habit of hitting their sisters, and you keep shouting, you keep yelling, you keep beating each time that happens, it's not going to stop. It's not going to stop. They could reduce it when you're around, but what happens when you're not around? What happens when they get to school? What happens when they get to the wider societies? There are adults who are bullies. Yeah, full-grown adults, employers, bosses in workplaces, people in the forces. I'm not saying all, but some persons in certain profession are there because they are bullies and they enjoy bullying others, and the profession they've chosen is one that their relationship with other people or the people they serve is one that there is always opportunity for them to exhibit that their bullying behavior. These people who do this today were once toddlers with parents who didn't do their due diligence. So, like I would say, see beyond the fact that your kids are still small. Look beyond their 1, 2, 3, 4 years age today. What we do today and will remain consistent in, even in this their young age, becomes what we are consistent with builds up in your mind, such that you get to the point where they do those things without even thinking, because it's like a reflex. An empathic person is an empathic person. A compassionate person is a compassionate person. He or she doesn't need to always be reminded to be compassionate if it has become part of them. All right? There are people who enjoy seeing others suffer unnecessarily. These are people who never learn empathy and compassion. And so today, you and I have the opportunity to hear to get information, to get knowledge, to be empowered to start building this in our children. All right? So having made that background, having established that background, so the two things I'd like us to teach our children. Number one is teach empathy and compassion. All right. So I was saying that my son, he's been in the habit of hitting people, saying "ntome," and I've noticed it's common with other boys too, that children of that age, boys of that age, empathy and compassion don't come easy to them. For instance, Um, Sometimes I'll be with them. They will sit or lie on a part of my body, and I'll feel pain, and you know, I'll make a sound that is showing I'm in pain. If my son and my daughter are there, my daughter will be like, my daughter will be the first to speak up. Mommy, what is it? Is it paining you? I'll say yes, say sorry, ndo, ndo. She will hug me. My son will just be there. He might actually be the one that sat on that part of my body that was paining, but he will just be there and be looking at you. And if you keep quiet, if you don't talk about it, he moves on quickly like nothing has happened. And if you give him the opportunity, he will repeat the same activity. All right? So I've come to understand that yelling, locking him out, hitting him, or flogging him, whichever one, doesn't stop it. In fact, before I stopped flogging, let me just share this for people that believe that at least there is a time to flog and all of that. Before I stopped flogging him, like and then it became a rule in my house. Even the people that stay with me know that you don't flog them, you don't yell, and they understand the reasons and they know the alternatives. Sometimes the part of yelling is really difficult, but we keep reinforcing it that this is not the way to go, and they understand the harm it does to them as individuals, and then the harm it can do to the children, so they are well informed. So, and it is that at some point my son will do something, I'll flog him. He will do that thing again, you flog him. The third time he will tell you, Mommy, flog me. Mm-hmm. Shebi, it's flogging. Mommy, flog me. And he'll be laughing. Mommy, flog me. So if I'm the person that now continued in flogging, one day I'll feel that the cane is not enough. Or one day I'll feel that slapping is not enough. One day I'll feel that knocking him on the head is not enough. And probably I'll graduate to using belts or wire. Or I'll graduate to putting his hand inside hot water or something. Those are abuse now. So, from the point of trying to correct and discipline, like some of us used to think it, or trying to punish so that they will know not to do this, it really doesn't work. It really does not work. So, if you want to raise a child who understands how to behave, whether you're there or not, empathy and compassion comes into place. And so we started talking about empathy and compassion. I started teaching him what it means in the language he understands. And sometimes when I teach him, I'm like, compassionate people don't hit their sisters. Compassionate people don't block their sisters when they want to walk. Compassionate people don't push or pinch their sisters. They don't push or pinch their classmates. I mentioned some of his classmates, and he will join me in. I'll mention one person, he will join me in mentioning the other persons that I didn't remember their names really. And so when he now pinches his time, I'm like, does that show empathy and compassion? No. So what do you do? How do you show empathy and compassion after you've injured, after you've looked for somebody's trouble? And you say, I will apologize to the person and give the person a hug. Okay, but go ahead and do it to your sister. And he goes ahead to do it. Will it stop him immediately from pinching or pushing? No. But it will reduce it. And like I said, some of the words he picked in the course of the term, if I am to rate it, it has reduced from 80 to 70% to currently between 35 and 30. And that's a good thing. It means that the holiday just started last week, Friday. So it means that probably before the end of July, we'll even drop further from 35 to 30 to like 20%. And that's cool. By the end of August, it would have faced the way. And I would have taught him skills that will actually make him not to say it. And will actually teach him what to respond to people who continue to say it to him in class. So, empathy and compassion is something that you teach. Alright? They may not get it at the initial time, but if you continue in teaching it and practicing it yourself, if you continue in teaching it and practicing it yourself is very important. If you continue in teaching it and practicing it, You will get there soon. All right. And then the next thing I'd like to share is number two thing is teach your toddlers to share things with others, especially the girls. I've noticed that the girl child wants to own, okay? And so when you ask them to share, it comes with a lot of drama. They'll start crying. You just said share. Oh, you've not collected it from her to give to the next person you want her to share. But she has started acting up and crying. Yeah, I've mentioned also in the course of the book that girls are known with drama. It's a follow come. Sorry. You don't want to beat it out of your girl child because there is a place it's going to be useful. There is a time it's going to be useful. So what you want to do is to teach your child, demonstrate sharing, demonstrate taking turns. I mentioned that sometimes my children and I just play Ludo. We don't use the seats and count. We just use we don't use the counting part of the Ludo. We just use the seats in the cup, shake it, turn it down on the board. The essence is to teach learning to take turns. As at the last time we played, my daughter improved a little bit, but she still finds it difficult to share that cup with me or with the brother. So it's always a struggle, all right? But I'll keep teaching. I'm still in the teaching process. Like I said, some of the things I teach us here are things I've done and I've seen results. Some are still things I'm still doing. So I'm not teaching from the place of being high, okay? I'm in the middle of it. I'm still doing the work, all right? Some of them are things I've suggested to my relations or my friends who are in the same level of parenting with me, and we are making progress. So you really want to start putting these things into place. You need to teach the girl child to share things. For you, the mother, some things they would readily want to share with you, especially if you're the parent and you're having a good time with them. But for others, for their peers or for their siblings, for those that have siblings, sharing things with the siblings is usually difficult. All right. So you want to teach this thing so that they will know when to share. Because for the boys who are aggressive, when they ask their sisters to share things with them and the sisters refuse, the next thing is to drag it or collect it by force. So while you're teaching the other person empathy and compassion, you're also teaching the other person to learn to share things and balance it out. All right. So this is where we're ending today's section, and I hope you've picked something to work with. And again, if you want to subscribe to the channel, please kindly do subscribe and hit the notification bell. Today is day 11. We'll be ending on Friday. So, and even when we end on Friday, we're going to start another series from next week, and you really don't want to miss out. Okay? Thank you for listening to the Expectant Parent Academy channel. Do have a wonderful day.